I haven't had a chance to practice yet, but hopefully this week I'll go in and start doing the homework.
Perfect. And Takia, I know I need to reschedule our meeting for Friday. Sorry about that. I'll email you
O-
separately though.
Okay, no problem.
How about anybody else on the team? Can you all come off mute and just let us know if you've been able to practice, if you did and there was no problems, or if you just haven't had time?
Yeah,
Hi,
I
I'm
haven't done
Christina.
anything either. Sorry, Christina, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, that's okay. I I was able to go in and practice. I'm on the be in the behavior health division, so I was focused on the behavior health side. I haven't run into any problems yet.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay, I think Cynthia, we can go ahead.
I'm going to jump in here. I just want to be clear that it's going to be a little rough trying to get through the next couple of modules if there aren't any practice POs in here. I know I did a couple, so hopefully we can get through receiving, but if you guys don't go and create POs and you can't practice receiving and you can't practice depletions. So it's going to be important that everyone go in and practice again. We go live in 2 weeks.
Right.
So I'm going to share my screen. Today what we're going to talk about is the receiving piece. So when your orders get placed, this will be important, especially with the drop ship items. Ones, or not just those, but whenever Daniel and his team send over the items you've ordered. So this is after you've created the PO, it's been approved, and it's been sent to the vendor. If you come here to your receiving list, here's all the orders that I placed or anyone placed from my facility. Okay, so some of these might be mine, some of them might be, you can see here, we've got dental in here, we've got medical, we've got the business office. It just depends on your facility. Again, if you're using that reference with your initials, it's going to be a lot easier to find your items because you can search by that. So let's look at this one right here. So order 120, let's say today came in, even though I know I placed it a while ago. Let's pretend I just placed it came in. The first thing you want to do here, let me go back to receiving list. All you have to do is click anywhere. You'll notice that color change whenever I hover over a line. You click anywhere on that color change. Okay. The first thing we want to do in ENVI is we want to create a receipt. So we're going to actually document what came in ENVI. The reason we're doing this in the system is because if we don't, the quantity on hands will never update. You'll never have a true vision of what you have sitting in your shelves. You have to complete the receiving process. The receiving process needs to be done within the first 24 hours of the items hitting your facility. So whenever they get there within that first day, same day, this needs to be completed. So I'm going to create a receipt here by clicking this box. ENVI again is going to ask us if we're sure. We're sure. I'm looking at the items. I have the packing slip in my hand. I want to create a receipt. I'm going to hit OK here. It brings us here. Again, it gives us the PO information, the status of that PO was sent, who confirmed it. Down here, there's some information. We are going to actually add to this information. So under purchase order receipt, we want to hit edit. The first thing you want to do is take that physical packing slip that came with the shipment and put in that packing slip number. Sometimes there might not be a packing slip, and that's okay. This is a free form text box. I want to be clear about that. You can put missing, not received, whatever the note is there that you want to put, you can't. Otherwise, it should be the number, the packing slip number that comes with your items. I'm going to hit update to save. Okay. You'll notice as well that there was an asterisk there. The organization has decided that you have to put this number in. So if you forget, ENVI's going to give you a hard stop. And I'll show you an example of that, just so that you always have to put something here. Once you hit update to save, you can then just go straight to line items. Line items is going to allow you to review everything that's you ordered and confirm only what came in. We never want you to check everything or check all or receive all or do any of that. We want you to definitely confirm that that item came in. So I'm going to click on line items. This one, thankfully, is just one line. So I can come here and say I received 4 if I received all 4. If I only received 2, I can say I only received 2. If there was let's say there's 35 lines here. If I use this button, this check all box here, it's going to check the box to everything and autofill the quantity I ordered. So you just want to make sure that the quantity you received is the quantity you ordered. Again, with this one, it's only 4. Let's pretend best case scenario, I got all 4. Okay. To save this count, you do have to hit update selected. If you don't hit update selected, it doesn't save those numbers. It's not going to let you process the receipt. So make sure you save your count. Screen will flash. You'll then just go back to details and process this receipt. This clicking right here, process receipt, is the most missed step for new users practicing receiving. So if you don't click this, it doesn't process. So just know you do have to click process receipt. You then get this confirmation box. PO receipt has been successfully processed. 1, that closes the loop on this order. And 2, it confirms that it has now updated your quantity on hand. So it has increased at your location your quantity on hand. Okay. Lastly,
One quick question.
sure, go ahead.
So I know you click edit on the receipt or packing slip and you put the number there. Is there a way we can scan and attach something to it of that special packing slip for auditing purpose, or it is just the number what you put there?
So I know with McKesson, there's like a barcode right under the packing slip number. So if you hit, depending on the kind of scanner you have, if you hit edit and then click in here and scan it, it will input that packing slip number for you here. So that's one way it does. However, on the receiving process, there's not really a good way to like scan everything. You cannot just go and expect to scan like the manufacturer item number or the manufacturer barcode or even the vendor barcode. There has to be a universal number that ties either the vendor's barcode, the manufacturer's barcode, and ENVI's inventory to the same thing. The only way to do that is to request the GTIN numbers, which is kind of a bigger conversation, Adam. I know we talked about it with Daniel that eventually he will start collecting the GTIN numbers. However, those are not easily found despite the technology, despite every item having a GTIN. Some of the vendors just aren't tracking them. Like vendors like McKesson, absolutely, they can provide you the GTIN number. And then if we load that in ENVI, then you can scan whatever barcode and confirm it. It's not that easy outside of McKesson. There's just not vendors tracking that information or being able to pull it and provide it. I'll be honest with you, just being transparent, I don't like scanning for receiving. There's 3 different barcodes on every package that may or may not link to ENVI. It's not as easy. However, if you had like the app open on ENVI, you could just do it all on your little mobile device, whether it's a smart tablet or a phone. You can just confirm everything there. You don't have to necessarily sit at your desk to do this. So just something to think about. Otherwise, no, you have to come in here and process a receipt.
Okay, thanks.
So just going back to this one here, you'll see that it has been fully received. If an item is fully received, when you come here to your receive list, it's not listed here because I have it sent up here to I only want to see what's been sent, meaning the sent status means the PO is sent to the vendor and we're waiting for it to come in. The other status I have it filtered for is partial. So if we get an order in and only some of it comes in, maybe some of the items are on back order, let's walk through what that looks like so you can see the status difference. However, if I wanted to see all statuses here, I could just change that drop down to all statuses. You've got sent, partially received, received, sent, and partial orders. It's going to default to sent and partial orders for you. Only by facility. You can filter by vendor. You can filter by dates. Let's do the next one. Let's do 1024. And hopefully it's more than one item so that I have a good example for you here. Clicked on that line. Again, I'm going to create a receipt. And he's asking if I'm sure. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to edit down here and I'm going to put in that pack and slip number and hit update to save. Gonna go to line items. I am gonna use this check all button just because I want you guys to see what it does. So again, if you have a big order and we've given you access to this, but with the understanding that you are checking it off as you receive it, that you've checked it, and I think Daniel and his team for the most part is gonna check all that off for you. You just want to come in here and create the receipt once you receive the items. You'll notice it auto-fills again the ordered amount. Let's say these last two lines didn't come in though. And let's say this top line, only one came in, not two. You'll want to only, again, confirm what came in. And then we still are going to hit update selected. We still want to confirm to ENVI that this is what came in. So I'm going to hit update selected, screen flashed. I'm good. I'm going to go back to my details tab. And just like before, you still are going to process this receipt. We want to update the quantity on hand for the items we did receive. Here's that confirmation. I'm just going to hit OK. But now when we go to the receiving list, you'll see 1024 there. I'm going to click receiving list. Now it's listed as partially received. So there you know you are waiting on back ordered items. Does that make sense so far? Any questions about the receiving process here?
No questions.
All right, so let's pretend let's say it's a couple days later and the rest of these items come in. Just like before, when you see that color change, you can click anywhere on that line. You'll notice that's the record of receipt from our first shipment. It's completely irrelevant to what we're doing right now because we're going to just follow the exact same steps. We're going to create a receipt here. ENVI's asking us if we're sure we're sure. You're going to edit down here to put in that new packing slip number. Please don't ever tie two different shipments to the same packing slip number. You'll throw off your AP. The packing slip number benefits your AP team. That's why it's required because it helps them sort through which invoices go to which shipments. I'm going to update selected to save my packing slip number. I am going to go straight to line items. You can still use this check all button. It's going to zero out anything that already came in. Okay, let's pretend the rest of the shipment came in all together. I know sometimes it might come in 3, 4, 5 shipments even, but let's pretend everything else came that was left. So we got this item today and we got these 2 items today. We're going to hit update selected to save our counts. Go to the details tab and I am going to process this receipt. PO has been successfully processed and now 1024 receiving list, it's gone. Again, you can always see it here under all statuses, or there's always a record under purchasing. So if I change this to received, there's my 2 receipts. One other thing I wanted to show you, and this is not something you have to do, I just want you to know that you have the ability to do this. I'm going to click into this 1026. We're going to create a receipt. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to edit in the packing slip number. Update to save. Straight to line items. I'm going to say everything came in, or actually I'll just do 2, so you guys have a partial there. I'm going to hit update selected. I'm going to go to my details and I am going to process the receipt for the items I received so that the quantity on hand updates. You'll notice there's a files here. If you have a scanner or if you guys are using a smartphone or a tablet, you can then take a photo of that packing slip number, or you can scan it on your scanner, save it on your desktop, and then load it here. So if I load a packing slip here, let's see, this one. So now you always have a copy of that packing slip. And when you come here, you'll see it there. Now you don't have to do that step. I want to be clear. I just want you to see the options that are available so that you guys understand what all these little headers are for when you get in here. Any questions over receiving? I feel like the receiving part is pretty simple. It's just understanding where to go. Any other questions on this part? All right. So this does close that loop on purchasing. You created your purchase order, you sent it. You wait for it to come in. When it comes in, you process your receipt. There's nothing really other than that you'd be following here. There's nothing else that you're going to do under receiving list except for if there's a pending receipt. If there are pending receipts, that means someone skipped a step or missed something. There's no reason anything should fall into pending. Typically, if it does, it's because somebody did something wrong or just forgot to do something. So Sarah, I see you're working on a couple of receipts here. It looks like you just either didn't confirm your quantities and save them, or you just didn't hit process receipt.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's good. It gave us an
testing
example.
around.
No, that's perfect. We want you playing around with it. We want you playing with it. But when you get to the live environment, if you set up your dashboard, you'll see here PO receipts pending. Remember when we went over the dashboard build, we said anything that is on your dashboard should always live at 0. So if you have things in pending receipts, that means somebody missed a step, something went wrong. You can always click here and just look at it and say, okay, let me follow up with Sarah. Maybe she needs help, or maybe something went wrong. It could be that you're in the middle of processing a huge order. That's fine too. But for the most part, there should never be pending receipts. All right. The second part of today's training is around usage. If you are unfamiliar with doing this step, or if this is new to you, what a usage is the opposite of receiving. So again, we want to be able to pull up your reports or go into ENVI and see exactly on hand what you have. You have 10 of these and 5 of these. So when you receive items, that increases your quantity on hand. But in order for your quantity on hand to always be accurate, you must also do depletions. So whenever you go, you put everything away in your stock room. But let's say that day you had 10 cases and you pulled a bunch of stuff out of the stock room, either to prep a room or just to replenish supplies somewhere else. When you go into ENVI, you must then say what you took or what you used, what you opened. So here you can see I have add a usage. This is usages. You also do have a usage dashboard. Again, I'm sure you're tired of hearing about all of the dashboards that ENVI has, but there is one around depletions here. Total cases, things like that. I don't know how, other than like the top 25. That's really the most that you're going to get out of here. Department usage is a good one, but you guys don't have procedure cards or anything in ENVI, so you won't really use that that table there. But if you are, again, this is stuff you can add to your main dashboard if you want, or pull these reports just to review. Your other two options here are usage list or single item submit. So if you just came in here and pulled one item and you just want to do a quick usage, you can do this. Same thing with usage list. If you wanted to do multiple items, you could do this. Now this part, Adam, to your point earlier, this is the best one for barcoding. This is my favorite module when we're using those barcodings, aside from, of course, adjustments where you do your quantity on hand counts. But if you had everything set up in ENVI and you had everything barcoded, all you'd have to do is go in there and scan what you took, enter in the quantity, and submit it. You wouldn't have to sit here and make this list like I'm going to do. I am going to show you the manual option here, because as far as I know, that this is how you're going to be completing them until you get your scanners. So to create a usage, I'm going to hit add a usage here. This process should at this point look super familiar to you, because it's the exact same process that you would do to create a purchase order. So if you've gotten down the flow of creating a PO, this is going to look really familiar. I was telling everyone that's a genius of ENVI. They took the same process and mirrored it throughout different modules so that it would be familiar and easy to follow. Now here you see all these options, and I promise if I could hide a lot of this from you, I would. But all you need to have in here is your facility and then the department. So let's say I'm depleting for medical. That's it. You can put a reference if you want. I can put my initials here. You can put a case number or a tracking code. That's all free-form text box. If you guys want to internally decide to use this to track something on a depletion, you can absolutely do that. Other than that, you don't need to put physician, preference card, default location. You don't need to use anything on this side. You're just going to hit save. So again, just your facility and the department that you pulled it for. You're going to hit save. Just like in purchase orders, you can go to line items. It's an extra step. You can go straight to update, and here's your options for adding things to your usage. Add from inventory, add manually. Manually means you know the numbers, you just want to type them in. Adding from inventory allows you to search all the items in your item master. Update items from an Opticon scanner. If you never use an Opticon scanner, you'll never use this button, nor will you use the process filled lines. Again, can't hide those, otherwise I would. You start it, realize you don't need it, cancel it. So if I add items from my inventory and I do a search here, there's 400 of these. Let's say I took 10 of these today. Say I took 1 of these. You'll notice there's negative numbers there. It's just because we're doing usages and no one's creating POs. Add and continue. Again, if you don't hit add and continue, it's not going to save your counts. You can search by items just like you can when you're creating a purchase order. You can search by any of this information, or you can just go page by page. Let's say I took 2, 2, and 2. This time I'm going to hit add and go to line items. Here's my depletions. Again, I can add items from here, same options I had on the other screen. I can deactivate selected, which means just remove something from a depletion or a usage. Or I can remove anything that has a 0 quantity on hand because I don't want to go negative. I'm not going to do that in the training environment just because I want you to see the full effect of this. So once I go here, this is it. I go back to my details tab and I just submit this usage. These do not have to be approved. I'm not sure why you would ever submit it to pending unless you're going to keep open one usage all day for everyone to join in on. So if your entire team just wants to put all their usages on one usage, someone can come in here and say, we'll call the case number the date. Whoever starts the usage then can just submit it to pending. Then throughout the day, as people come in to take items, they can open the same usage, add their items, and then at the end of the day, someone just has to submit it. I mean, not the best way to do it, but that would really be the only reason I would say you would use pending. Otherwise, you would just submit your own usage and let everyone submit their own. The reason you want everyone creating their own is so that the trackability. Because if I start it and then you go in there and you put 30 things on there, they're going to think I took all that. Right? It's going to show under my name. So it's just better that everyone create their own usage. To submit it, I'm going to hit submit usage. This box pops up saying it was successful. This has now depleted the quantity on hands for these items. So originally this first line that I did had 400 on hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this item here and we're going to look for it just so I can show you. Going to take us to the item master to find that item. Right here. You go to my location, which is Carl Medical. I now have 390. Does everyone understand what we're doing here, what a usage is, and what it's used for?
Sure.
Do we want to walk through one more? I'll tell you what, let's do the single item submit so you can just see what that looks like. And pick anything with an asterisk is required. When you do it this way, though, you have to know your inventory item. So if you don't know the inventory item, and you can check the item, there it is, just to confirm that you have it right, it will pull up the description for you there just by clicking that check item link. The quantity that I want to deplete, let's say I want to do 5 eaches. So this is a little different than being able to create a whole list. This is just doing one item at a time. So if you just pulled one item, this might be easier for you to do it this way. Again, you would need to know the inventory number to utilize the single item submit. Hit save. Usage 10 has been created and successfully submitted. So that's it. It's done. There's no other screens to it. You go to usage list though, you can always see it. Any questions around ENVI processes and the timeline of which we are going live?
Cynthia, I had a quick question. When we purchase, when we submit a purchase request or purchase order,
Mhm.
does that automatically create the inventory? Does it automatically goes to, saying this is how much we have in inventory?
No, so what we've done is we've preloaded all the items that everyone buys. So nothing automatically creates an inventory item. Is that what you mean?
This when we do purchases.
When you create purchase orders, you should be choosing from the list that we've already created. So there's no need to create a new item unless you're not finding the item you need. In that instance, you would need to reach out to Daniel and his team to get it loaded. Is that what you mean, Takia? I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding you.
No, that's not what I meant. I guess I kind of meant, so when we do usages, we're taking from inventory. We're saying we use this amount of product, right?
Mhm.
So when we refill inventory, um, right, when we do so let's say I wanted to have a inventory of supplies for finance. Um, do
Are you
I?
asking what increases the quantity on hand?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So that was the receiving process we just went through before.
Okay. Okay.
Whenever
So
you
that'll be
create a receipt and that box, confirmation box comes up saying that your receipt has been successfully processed, that's what actually updates your quantity on hand. So that's what increases it. So that's why I
okay.
say like receiving and usage are the opposite. One is to increase by confirming what came in.
Got
The
you.
usage would be to decrease by saying what you took out.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Sure. Couple other things I'll show you since we have a little bit of time. Under utilities, you guys have a little bit of access here. If you hit extract data, this is all information that lives in ENVI that you can do a straight data pull. So if someone's like, I don't know what vendors we're buying anything from, like I need to see if we have the right item, you can pull this inventory vendor extended and you can choose your facility. So let's say my facility is this one here and hit submit. It's just going to be a straight data pull. Excel is your only option down here. It's not a customizable report. It's just if you wanted to see everything that was loaded in ENVI, maybe there's some items that you feel are not tied to your location that should be. You could then pull this report. It's going to have a lot of information on it, but you'd be able to dial into the data a little bit more. And you could say, okay, I see the item here, but it's not tied to my location. Like, why can't I access this item? And you could send it to Daniel just to make sure that everything gets tied to your location. Everything should be tied to everyone's location. But if you're not finding items or things like that in the live, make sure you reach out to Daniel and his team so that they can get that fixed for you right away. It would either be Daniel or Linda that would be able to add the item for you. And then aside from this reporting, you also have the reporting that's located up here. If you remember, we talked about customizing reports and building them out here. Please come in here and play around with reports. Please come in here and build a couple of reports. Even if you don't memorize them, just at least save them. Learn how to navigate this module. It's only going to benefit you later. That's it. Unless anybody wants to share their screen and do a receipt or something to walk through the steps together, I'm happy to do that with you. It doesn't have to be receiving or usage. It could be a PO if you're still unfamiliar with that piece.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Now,
Can you hear
when
me? Oh.
you make your purchasing, it adds to your inventory, but how do you put the initial inventory that you have currently?
So that's a great question. Actually, there will be an initial inventory. Again, I have to refer back to your leaders to figure out when they want to do that. But there will be an inventory adjustment. You guys don't actually have even, it's not even listed here, but I can show it to you. Let me see. Let me just open it up over here. There is a section in ENVI called an adjustment. I think the team decided that we wouldn't be doing that initially because they really care more about you guys getting used to the whole process before we do a hard inventory count. Oops, that's not your training environment, that's your live environment. But there is a way to do an inventory count in ENVI, and it's called adjustment. So you can see here, we've minimized what you need to see because it's not everything that you're going to be using. There's a lot of ENVI you won't be using.
Can you share
But
your screen, Cynthia?
oh, am I not? I'm sorry. I thought I was. Let me share. Here we go. So if you wanted to do an adjustment, which is what that's called, this is it here. If you were going to do a hard inventory count, you could manually come into ENVI and do this item I have 20, this item I have 10. I don't know if you guys are doing those currently. There is some pen to paper on this process, but I think the goal is to get everything labeled. Because if you can go into ENVI and print your labels and start labeling your area, again, if you come to reports, system reports, and if you do inventory labels, and I'll just generate this so you can see it. Oh, I probably should have done a location. No, it's going to take forever. But eventually we want you guys to go and label all your items because then you can just scan to count. You would scan the barcode, list how many you have, move on to the next item. Scan the next one, put how many you have, and keep going forth. So your initial inventory would be inputted in that way. So either you would do scanning or you can come to adjustments. Again, adjustments looks exactly like a purchase order. It looks exactly like creating a usage. You would hit add adjustments. You would select your facility and your location. You can use override, which is going to just tell ENVI exactly what you have on hand versus adding or decrementing. Those are your options. Increment, decrement, or override. But we're going to override whatever is existing there. And we're going to say this is what we have. You can put the date, your initials as a reference. Maybe it's annual count 2025, something like that. Once you hit save, looks exactly the same as it does as purchasing. You can go to update and choose to do it, add items from inventory, type out your items manually. These are for Opticon scanners, or you can cancel the adjustment. For example, if I was going to do by inventory, again, just like purchasing, I could say I have 10 here, 20 here, 15 here, and 9 here. And this is a very small inventory location, but it's going to take the 0. Now it's going to read 10. It's just going to override it from 0 to 20, from 1 to 15, and 0 to 9. That's one way of doing it. If you want to come here and go to update and do the items manually, you have to know the inventory numbers, okay? But you would be able to do it that way as well. So you would just type in the inventory number. One second, let me do this here. I'm going to do medical. So I could type in the inventory number here and say 10130. I'm going to hit the tab button and I'm going to say I have 15. Hit the tab again. 10529. Oops. Here. 10270. Tab 5. Add and continue, or add and go to line item. So you can see I override it for this one, but then as I added more in different locations, it's incrementing it also by this. So a lot to do there. I think this is going to be something end of year, possibly beginning of next year that you guys will attempt. But again, it just depends on the method that you guys decide you want to do this count. Now, if someone wants to add their quantity on hand sooner than that, I would say just reach out to Daniel, and he knows how to set up a training for this so that we can get it done sooner than later. But again, it's just at an organization level, they decided adjustments at this time. They want you to get used to buying, receiving, and then the usage seems to be a new process for the team. So we didn't want to overwhelm you. So I guess that's kind of just the why behind it. If I go to details though, and I hit submit adjustment, now if I go into my location, and I look at these items, you'll see the quantity on hands have now updated to, this one now has 10. That lives at your location there. This one now has 25. So that's how you would manually increase it. So if you found something and you wanted to adjust it, maybe you found a hidden box of gloves that you didn't even know were there, you could come in here and manually increment your quantity on hand by 1. Does this help? Does this answer your question? Sorry, I didn't hear you if you were talking. Was that Stephanie that asked? Stephanie, does this help?
Probably she's on mute, I think.
Oh, she
Stephanie,
said
are you
yes.
there?
Okay. She put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, that's all I really had. Again, this is your time to ask any questions you have since you have me, and we've got about 20 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to see or have questions about?
Hi, Stephanie. I mean, Cynthia. I just wanted to emphasize what you said earlier when we started this overview. Super users, our department will depend on us. So on the super users. So from next week, we will be going live. Just before that, let's make sure we go through our homework and understand everything, because we need to be ready when this goes live to help the others understand how it is done and how we put these orders in place. I just wanted to re-emphasize that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Hey,
the organization. Go ahead. Sorry.
Adam, should we just be setting up trainings for our department? How should this work for us rolling this out?
What was the question?
Should we be setting up trainings for our different departments or?
No. Okay, so each department, there are some users that are already assigned for purchasing purposes from each department. So, but out of those, you are the super user, meaning this is like training the trainer. So that's why you need to practice in your department. Those few people that will process the purchasing will depend on you. That's basically what it is.
Okay.
If I answered it correctly. We can share the list of, for each department that the department head shared with Zell, right? Zell has those lists, and we can communicate that back to you. So you know who will be ordering, and then if they have some questions, they would come to you or they would ask you. So just keep that in mind.
Okay, thank
To
you.
train them, basically. Okay, thanks.
That's a good question. Ramona wants to know, how is it now, the process of recalls and notifications of delayed POs? I guess that would be a Daniel question that we can take to him, maybe, Adam.
Sorry, what was the question?
It's in the chat. Ramona asked, how is now the process of recalls and notifications of delayed POs?
Oh, okay. That needs to go to Daniel.
It's a good
Ramona,
question, though. We definitely can bring it up with him and find out for you, Ramona.
yeah.
What does he do now? Like, how do you guys handle that now?
I'm not sure really. I don't know. Ramona, you're on mute. Maybe she
Yes,
can.
good morning, everyone. Usually when we receive notification from the purchasing department, whenever they receive a letter of recall. So it takes time for them to draft the letter and send it to all sites, where all sites they have to pull those items off the floor. So what I'm asking is, like, how is the system set up for those specific for this specific, it's a compliance matter. So the swiftly way of handling that will be the best, so we don't end up one of the item being used. So usually McKesson, they sent the letter to purchasing. Now, since McKesson is integrated or interfaced with an ENVI, how is it possible for them to communicate that through the system?
So this system would not necessarily be used for that, for communication wise. It's not a messaging system. The interface is specifically just to send POs electronically. It's not like a direct feed like to McKesson or anything like that. So when you receive that letter, the only process you would probably complete in ENVI as far as recalls go is you would go and create a usage and call it recalled items and deplete that way. Other than that, you'd be able to see what you have on hand. Now there is tracking that's available, which is not something, again, the team has opted to do, but you can turn on tracking for lot numbers, serial numbers, and expiration dates. In instances where items would specific lot might be recalled, they can pull everyone's report and see who has that lot on hand and say, hey, you guys need to go and pull this, this, and that. But as far
So
as
is that
ENVI goes, those would be the only two things that you would do as far as a recall.
okay? So it's still not automated. It's so there is no such option to tag an item as recalled on the system? Like,
I mean,
is there like a recall, term into the
no,
system?
because, and I think the reason being is if there was like something like that, I mean, they could definitely send out a message. Your organization can send out a message in ENVI saying, hey, item this, and that has been recalled. Please go and pull it through. But in order for you would get an email notification, of course, and you would get a message in ENVI. I don't know that that's any more efficient than them just sending you the email and saying it or calling everyone up and saying it. But I mean, there is a way for them to say that they receive this message from McKesson saying that this item needs to be recalled. Please pull it from your shelves immediately. Again, you would get a notification in the system. You would get an email from ENVI saying that you have a notification. But is that more efficient than what you're doing now? I'm not sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just processing the thoughts about this, like, it would have been great to have that automated, because letters, to come to us, and the processing of those letters and then sending them for the sites to pull the items or to pull the product off the floor will stay as is, basically. There's no automation to it.
Now, I can't say for sure what the decision will be or what they're gonna do differently, if anything. It's just kind of telling you how ENVI would handle it at this point. That's the only area I can really speak to. I mean, I would
Okay.
definitely bring it up with Daniel. We can bring it up. We meet, twice, 3 times a week with Daniel. So we can definitely bring it up with him to kind of maybe him and Zell can send out some communication around that. But it is a great question, and I do appreciate you, asking. Because then we have those little things. This is kind of like when I say, guys, if you guys go in there and practice, you'll come back with some of these questions, which is great, because that's what we want. We want to answer all this before we go live.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you.
And then Adam, we can just bring it up with them on the call on this week.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions or concerns that we can help or try to answer for you today around anything in ENVI? All right, well, Adam, that's all I have. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
No, I think that's it. Thanks.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you guys have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions you might have, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.